Hey my enchanted peeps, welcome to Witchy Wednesdays when I do the YouTube Pagan Challenge. I'm also on my blog doing Witchy Wednesdays where I'm starting this new thing on Wednesdays where I'll post about a different sort of witchy topic each week. This month I'm focusing on candle magic, and I've made a post about the different colors of candles and color associations, so that's in the link below. So I started doing a few different things on my blog. I started doing on Sundays the stone of the week, and then on Mondays doing a little bit about what's going on astrologically, blah. And then Wednesdays doing like a magic thing. So and then sometimes on Fridays I just do like a polyvore, like Fashion Fridays. So that's why I'm doing my blog. If you're interested, check it out below. So the questions week 4 and week 5, because I missed last week, is week 4 was about your take on the Wheel of the Year, and then week 5 this week is about the meaning of Imbolc to you. So they kind of go together for me because where I live, most of the Wheel of the Year fits in except for I would say Imbolc, spring equinox, and Beltane to a certain extent. So I do follow the Wheel of the Year, but the Wheel of the Year is very Northern European focused, and the weather here can be quite different. So, you know, in warmer parts of the world, you know, in the southern United States and, you know, in England and places like that, you're starting to see the first signs of spring, but here you're not. Where I live, it is minus 16 outside of Celsius. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but we have a lot of extremes. So in the winter, it can be minus 40 degrees, and in the summer, we go up to plus 40, which for my American friends is like going from minus 40 to 100 degrees in 1 year. So we have a lot of extremes, and our winter here lasts, in Manitoba, it is about 5 months of the year. So give or take, each year is a little bit different, right? So winter starts sometime in November, is usually when the snow comes that stays, and then it leaves probably usually sometime in April. Like I said, depends on the year. So about 5 months. So Imbolc is dead in the middle of winter. You've had like 2.5 months, and you've got about 2.5 months to go. So to me, Imbolc is a winter celebration and not a spring celebration. It definitely, there's the promise of spring. It's getting a little bit lighter out, but it's the middle of winter. You're not gonna, you know, I read these rituals about planting a seed and all this stuff. That's not gonna happen here. That seed will die. No, it's not good. It's not good. So for me, when we celebrate Imbolc, like I celebrated with, got together with my coven sisters, and we celebrated, and it's more about personal growth, and so we will dedicate ourselves to working on something for the year. And so it's a very personal kind of a celebration. So that's what it means to me. It's about purification of the self. You might want to, some people start spring cleaning at this time, getting ready for spring, which will eventually come at some point. But it's more about working on the inner self, and what is it that you want to work on this year. So all the plans that you made in New Year's, you're kind of solidifying them and saying, this is what I want for the year. At Imbolc, at least that's what we do, because like I said, it's a winter time celebration. Further to that, spring equinox, it's not really spring here either. Definitely we notice it getting lighter. There are a few more warmer days. You might see a few signs again depending on the year. Like last year, it was spring equinox, and I went I walked to the bus stop, and you know, there's snow on the ground, it's still kind of cold, and I saw some geese fly overhead. And to me, when you see the geese, that means spring is on its way. So that was like a really nice sign last year. So spring equinox is more like Imbolc in some ways, because that's when you start to see like that spring is definitely coming. You see the first few signs. You might start seeing a few animals come back. So to me, spring equinox is more about preparing for spring. It's also a nice time too. You might want to, around here, start looking at seed catalogs and ordering, you know, some of your flowers or seeds. So, you know, it does kind of have that spring sort of feel to it. And then Beltane doesn't quite fit either, because in lots of places it's kind of the start of summer, but here it's not, it's spring. And it really depends on the year. There's a public event that goes on in my city where it's run by different groups. It's called Beltane in the Park, and there's maypole. But the weather has varied so much. Some years It's been beautiful. There's been leaves on the trees. It's been gorgeous out. It's been like 20 degrees Celsius, where I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. It's warm. And then one year, actually more than 1 year, some years it snows. And but at that point, like if it snows, it usually just stays around for a few hours and melts, but still it's cold. Sometimes there's no leaves on the trees. Like it really, really depends. So you can see that those three ones don't really fit into the Northern European model. So I just adjust them a little bit. And then summer solstice though, Lammas, fall equinox, and then Samhain and winter solstice, they all do fit in with that. So it's just the way that the weather is here that it kind of doesn't fit in totally with those three ones with the European cycle. But as for what Imbolc means to me, like I said, it is a time of the goddess is being renewed and reborn as the maiden, and so it is a great time to renew the self, especially as a woman. A great time to connect with the inner goddess, as well as devoting ourselves to an outer goddess at the time. You know, I will pick usually a goddess to work with for the year at that point and dedicate myself to certain things that I want to work on for the year. So it's very much about purifying the self and dedicating the self and solidifying all the plans and stuff I made during New Year's. So it's still like, it's a very sacred, is one of my favorite ones actually. So I do really love Lammas. It's just, you know, it's like I said, this is not a spring celebration for me. It's a winter one. So anyway, that's what it means to me. I'm really enjoying watching everyone else's Pagan YouTube challenge, and I will see you all next week. If you have any comments or questions, put them below, and I will talk to you all next time.